what is it about us that we can't understand that, that we're all a mixture of good and bad, and that there's an upside and something to be proud of in terms of what the British in particular did when they ruled the waves?
Well,
it wasn't all downside.
The first thing is none of it is changeable, is the first thing.
Yeah. So the more time you spend worrying about the past, the less you're fixing today's issues.
Yeah, I mean, what are you meant to do about it? As my late friend Clive James once said, we're here because history happened. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about, I don't know, the bombing of Dresden or Nagasaki, to use a couple of recent examples? What are you going to do about it? Cringe about it? Be powerless because of it? Be endlessly apologetic because of it? Why? What good would it do? Who would it bring back? Who would it placate? So the first thing is the whole thing is in many ways simply pointless. The second thing is that obviously we've been through this period where what happens is Western democracies are expected to endlessly self-flagellate about our pasts. And it's some kind of, maybe you could say, overcorrection towards a certain view of the past that was prevalent, let's say, in the late 19th century. Okay. Well, as you say, first of all, we need a more balanced approach. And secondly, we're not doing this just to ourselves. I'm not having that anymore. Absolutely not. Is one allowed to swear slightly on your podcast?
Absolutely.
Can I just say...
Go ahead. Australians will understand.
Okay, look, what we're wading through is a pile of horse shit. Okay?
Sounds like you've done it personally at some stage. I have, by the way. It's pretty. I get the point of it.
Yeah, you get it's not a metaphor.
It's no fun. It's not very productive.
It's not to be recommended. It's not to be sought out. We are wading through this because, and I can tell you how you get out of it, among other things, which is to say, I'm sorry, who were the Maoris historically? Were they men and women of peace who sat around idyllically farming and having an Edenically civilized life? Or were they brutal, brutal people who did terrible things to each other and to people they met? The trade in decapitated human heads as a tool of bartering to buy goods, including muskets by the early 1800s. I'm sorry, I'm not willing to have my own culture ransacked and turned through this lens of pure evil and simultaneously be expected to pretend that the Maoris or the indigenous peoples of Australia were these proto-Gandhi-esque figures, sort of Mother Teresa with a bit too much beheading. No, this is totally untrue. And it's an obvious attempt to subjugate people in the West to a false ideology and a false version of our own past. So no, I mean, all of the sort of, the combination of the two of these things, the wild distortion of Western history, the negative interpretation of all of Western history, is bad on its own, but combined with this Edenic, Vaseline-lensed interpretation of everyone else, no, you might just about get away with one of those things, but not both, and not both at the same time, no way.